Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up, as the tale of two Laurent brothers comes to a close on Young and Restless. Or does it? The stories involving Damien and Aristotle Dumas, and Jack and Victor's latest feud ramp up. Victor's sure he has the upper hand against the Abbots. What with planting moles at Genoa and hiring Audra to torpedo Kyle's love affair with Claire. But, as with everything the mustache plots, it's a game of chess, never checkers, and therefore gets complicated. Michael expressed concern that the insiders they planted when Genoa absorbed Glissade might be garnering a little too much attention, and indeed, Kyle told Jack that he's suspicious of said employees. It appears that Jack may put Victor in check next week, as he's clearly taunting the Black Knight in the preview. Has he identified the moles and turned them against him? It seems possible. Meanwhile, Young and Restless has a deadly dull version of Romeo and Juliet playing out as Kyle and Claire struggle to forge a romance amid Victor and Jack's feud. I have to say, I was gobsmacked that an entire episode was devoted to this plot this week. Murday. Anyway, Victor's tapped Audra to tempt Kyle and show Claire his true colors. But the real threat to their relationship might come from another direction. Summer admitted she has unresolved feelings for her ex-husband, and as Chelsea and Adam will tell you, the pull to put one's family back together sometimes proves irresistible. As for Audra, I'm here for whatever she does, as she remains one of the characters on canvas who hasn't gone completely vanilla and reformed. But I hope she's not shooting herself in the foot here. P.S. I love her friendship with Sally. Why Lily thinks Damien has to answer to her is beyond me. But apparently he's bought into the idea, as this week he decides to tell her everything. Presumably, that will bring us another step closer to understanding this convoluted Aristotle Dumas storyline. Given the writer's track record, I can't help but fear it won't live up to the hype. But fingers and toes crossed. Honestly, I'd be more interested in seeing Holden and Damien get their own soapy storylines now that they're on the canvas. Alain was revealed to almost certainly be Martin, as the Laurent brothers snapped in the face of Sharon and Phyllis heckling. I was glad they, and Ashley, got an audience with their tormentor, and Christopher Cousin's performance was riveting. But there were 100 more satisfying ways this could have played out. We could have had action, for example, rather than just more talk. It also left us without answers to some burning questions. As Nish 414 pointed out on Bluesky, I still want to know where Martin got his information from about Phyllis and Sharon, because neither brother was around back in the day. Seriously, how did he know what song was playing when Phyllis argued with Sharon at the gala and fell down the stairs? My main concern is with the idea that Martin lived and Alan died. This does not jive with what we saw play out on screen. They were wearing different outfits at the time of the fall. There is no way that Martin could have changed into his dead brother's clothing and taken on his persona in the time it took for Ashley to run down the stairs and appear outside. That's why I'm holding out hope for a twist. Perhaps they both somehow survived the fall and Martin took over Alan's life at some point. That way, Alan could be found wherever his twin stashed him and Tracy could still get her happy ending. Do you think Alan's still alive? Vote. It was the kind of crisp Genoa City morning that promised calm. A rare breath between the relentless storms of scandal and heartbreak. But anyone who's been around long enough knows, peace is the first sign of incoming chaos. At Chancellor Winter's, the buzz around the morning coffee pot was nothing compared to what was coming. At first, it was a whisper, a name spoken in disbelief, as though the very mention might summon ghosts. But the whisper grew louder, fueled by a mysterious envelope slipped under Jill's office door at dawn. The man presumed dead for over 5 years. A tragic boating accident off the coast of Corsica. No body recovered. A funeral that left more questions than closure. And now, a blurry photo of a man who looked too much like Alan to be a coincidence. The salt and pepper hair. The same ice-cold stare. Older, leaner, but unmistakable. Jill's hands trembled as she held it, a cocktail of rage, confusion, and something deeper, fear. Because if Alan was alive, the entire fragile balance of Genoa City's elite was about to implode. Across town, Victoria Newman stood at her office window, gazing out with the cool detachment of a woman used to winning. But her thoughts were elsewhere. She had loved Alan once, deeply, recklessly, a love that threatened to ruin her. And when he died, part of her breathed again. She never told anyone the truth. Alan had come to her, The night before his death. He was desperate, hunted, paranoid. He spoke of a conspiracy, of someone inside Newman Enterprises trying to silence him. Victoria had laughed it off as stress. But when the yacht exploded the next day, she knew. He'd been right. Elsewhere, in the shadows of crimson lights, Chance Chancellor sat across from Kevin Fisher. The photo spread on the table like a weapon. If this is a hoax, Chance said, narrowing his eyes, someone went to a lot of trouble. Kevin apped the edge of the picture. I ran facial recognition, 98% match. But here's the thing. This was taken 2 weeks ago. In a surveillance camera shot outside a tech bank in Budapest that specializes in data laundering. Whoever that is, he's alive. And hiding. Kevin leaned in. If Alan's alive, then everything that happened 5 years ago needs to be re-examined. The merger. The fraud investigation. The sealed files. All of it. Back at the Abbott mansion, Ashley's reaction was less measured. She dropped the glass of wine she was holding when Jack showed her the photo. This is impossible, she whispered. I saw the wreckage. I saw his ring pulled from the ocean. Ashley blinked back tears. He used me. Lied to me. And now he's out there, playing games again. Jack put a hand on her shoulder. Or maybe he's back to finish what he started. In the shadows of society, Phyllis Summers stood near the bar, phone to her ear, voice low. You said he was gone. You promised me. Tucker. On the other end, Tucker McCall exhaled sharply. He was gone. I paid enough to make sure of it. Well, someone didn't cash that final check. Phyllis snapped. If Alan is alive, we're all in trouble. But the real shot came later that night, in the most unexpected place. Devin Hamilton's penthouse. The doorbell rang, and when Devin opened the door, his world tilted off its axis. Alan pushed past him, clutching a flash drive and a bloody file folder. Everything you thought you knew. It's a lie. They killed my brother. They faked my death. Newman and Chancellor, there's a war coming. And I'm the only one who knows the truth. Rumors swept through GCHC like wildfire. Leslie Winters went pale when she saw Alan on the security footage from Devin's building. Nikki Newman poured a second glass of bourbon, hands shaking, remembering the deal she struck years ago to keep Alan silent. And in the dark corners of Newman Tower, Victor himself stared at the image, jaw clenched, silent. He turned to Michael Baldwin. Find him. Now, before he starts talking. The young and the restless has never shied away from resurrection plots. But this one has teeth and a past drenched in secrets. Is Alan Spaulding really alive? Or is this an elaborate con by someone with a deadly agenda? And if he is alive, why return now? Some say he's here to bring justice. Others, vengeance. But one thing is certain, Genoa City will never be the same.